So today I'll be showing you a really quick trick to actually cut any perimeter into another mesh. It's a simple trick usable with booleans that is purely dependent on how the normals of the actual, and here's my cat getting in the way. As you can see, this was used in previous tutorials. In a previous tutorial for cutting a cylinder into another cylinder, which I'll be quickly showing again. Let's rotate this by 90 degrees. Remember to apply the scale, and I'll move it like this. So this is simple. There is one specific trick with Blender and its booleans. If we go ahead and add a new one, then select the cylinder. As you can see, it's actually cutting into the mesh, as you would expect with a boolean. But now let's see what happens when we use a non-manifold mesh. So I'll delete this face and then this face. Well, now it changes nothing apart from creating the face. Well, what's the point in that? How is this going to be useful? There is one trick. As you can see, if I go ahead and turn face orientation on, it's properly oriented. But if I go ahead and switch the direction of the boolean specifically while it's non-manifold, as you can see, now it will not cut a hole in the mesh anymore. Rather, it's going to create a non-manifold inverted hole inside the actual mesh, which is simple. Like it's a simple clear up after the fact. But now it seems like nothing happened. This is still like this. Remember one thing, it's do not use hole tolerant for this method. It will completely break topology, and it will separate faces that should not be separated. But going back to the topology, this looks like nothing happened, but if we actually go ahead and turn on wireframe, as you can see, now it actually cut into the mesh. The thing that you don't see is that if we go ahead and hide this face, now there is nothing, but if I go ahead and apply this and hide it again, as you can see, it created an inverted hole internally, since the normals were inverted, but it didn't create a closing face due to the object being non-manifold. So if I simply go ahead and delete all of this, that's it. Now you have a circle cut into the actual mesh that follows perfectly whatever you need. You can simply then merge or even dissolve for all that matters. I will be using my add-on just for a faster result. So delete, dissolve, and vertex. Also I need extend, so it's simpler. 1, 2, 3. And as you can see, and yeah, that's it, and you have a circle basically. But maybe you don't want to eliminate these parts, so let's just keep the conforming parts. And this is basically the trick to add any kind of shape onto any other kind of shape. Even more complex, I will grab a file right here. Nothing ready, nothing pre-made. This is a simple file I exported out of Marvelous Designer. It's for a piece of clothing that for another model. As you can see, there is one in the right. That's basically one of the models I'm working on. There is another which needs clothes, and I'll grab the clothes really quickly. And where is it? There we go. No, that's the wrong one. There it is. Import. And so here's the clothing. The thing is, let's say I want to add like a patch to this. But how am I going to actually add a patch into the mesh? Oops, not the circle, a cylinder. But like this is a really bad example. rather what you will use something like this for. It's not rotating properly. 90, and the 0 keybind stopped working. Anyway, this rather you will use something like face project, and based on origin, which it's not working, so you will go ahead and use the settings, but switch to active, and then align rotation to target. So now you have the actual cylinder on the mesh. Why is this useful? Let's say now this is a cylinder, but if you go ahead and need to actually cut something like a rip in a piece of cloth, if you didn't make it in Marvelous Designer, for example, not everyone can afford it. What you can simply do is, again, you grab the boolean, you grab that hole, you like let's say you have this, and you simply go ahead and add a plane and make what is a cut on the actual mesh. So let's do like this is a rip in the mesh, let's say. Okay, so I want a rip in this section. What I can do is extract and then extract on the other side as well. Oops, I projected way, oh god, I projected way too far, and there we go. Now as you can see, it's going into the mesh. Remember to make it go into the mesh, otherwise it will not work. Again, non-manifold, so keep in mind you have to delete any faces that will make it manifold. On both sides you need to make basically this kind of shape, like it needs to be a strip, not just non-manifold. So you just have this, and again the same trick, you select this and it's going to create a cut, but a really horrible cut. So what you can simply do is, let's add a subdivision so it's a lot smoother, since the mesh itself also is high res. Let's go back and grab the plane, face, and again same trick, flip normals. Now you will simply have, again, it's invisible. Activate the wireframe, and as you can see, it cut into the mesh. Now this topology is horrible. It's due to, as I said, Marvelous Designer being simulated with triangles. But if I go ahead and apply the boolean, here we go, I can simply go ahead and, if it doesn't lag, which it's lagging quite a bit, faces, and no, oh, this is my bad. I should be deleting these ones, not the. But this is one issue you can encounter when the edge of what you used to cut the hole with, if it's too close to the actual mesh. You don't. If you use any mesh in between, you should not. You should remove them. Otherwise, it will try to create a supporting edge for that. So you can simply either do that, or in this case, it's simply the weight cut, which is not good enough, basically, and it still try to add a supporting loop, as you can see. So just deleting this. There we go. And the reason why I'm doing this, it's now what you can do, since this is a loop, you have this. I'll clean and see if it's, so there was some overlapping points, which it's why I assume it's shaded like that. Like, this is the only issue. It creates this weird topology that at the same time it's really easy to fix. But what's the point of this? It's basically, let's mark this as a seam, so I can select it if I can select it, much easier. And once you have something like this, again mark seam, and if I can select that small edge, there we go. Now what you simply can do is select linked. Oops, and that's not working. Select, I'm not used to this interface anymore. There we go. And now it's creating this issue for whatever reason. There is nothing wrong with this section. So when Blender does this, suddenly you have to use it to select manually, which there's nothing too much really to about. So as soon as I do this, the reason to do this is you can now assign a material, and so you can use a transparent texture, for example a simple cut for a simple rip in the actual cloth. So new material, this is the original, I'll just add another new material, assign, and that's it. You can go ahead on this, change the transparency, which it's not working because I'm used to another software, and I forgot you need to actually turn off the, you need to use another shader. And translucent, sorry. But oh no, actually I need a texture for that. So yeah, this is simple, as you can see. That was it. You can cut anything into any surface through this method. I noticed I didn't select a part of it, but yeah, really simple.